a mother's silence. In the small village of Oguyum, surrounded by thick forests and narrow dirt roads, lived a young woman named Adis. Her beauty was the kind that made people pause. She was tall, smooth-skinned, and had a voice that felt like a lullaby. But behind her beauty, there was something even more special, a soft heart. From childhood, Adis had always been kind. She helped the elderly fetch water, watched children for free, and was known for cooking large meals to share with those who had none. Everyone believed she would grow to marry a nobleman and live a happy life. And she almost did. The love that broke her. At the age of 20, Adis fell in love with a man named Okafor. He came from another village, a carpenter by trade, and he had the kind of charm that could melt any heart. He was tall, strong, with a smile that made Adis forget the world. He would sit with her under the mango tree and talk about their future, a big house, many children, and a life full of love. He promised her marriage. He promised her forever. But one evening, Adis discovered she was pregnant. When she told Okafor the news, expecting joy, his face changed. He grew cold, distant. That same week, he left the village, saying he had work in the city and would return. Days passed. Weeks. Then months. He never came back. Betrayed and alone. The village people talked. They called her foolish. Some mocked her behind her back, others said she gave herself too easily. Her parents, who had died years before, one dared to defend her. She was all alone, carrying the child of a man who had lied to her and abandoned her. She cried every night. Her once soft heart began to harden. Something inside her broke, not all at once, but slowly. Like a glass cup with a crack that spreads day by day. And as the months passed and her belly grew, Adis began to build a wall inside herself. She stopped trusting. She stopped laughing. She stopped believing in love. Raising Ebuka. When her son, Ebuka, was born, Adis felt love again, but it was different this time. It wasn't sweet and open like before. It was tight, protective, fierce. She looked into her baby's eyes and made a promise. You are all I have. I will never let the world hurt you. I will never let any man take you away like your father took everything from me. She never mentioned Okafor again. Not to Ebuka. Not to anyone. She worked hard to raise her son. She cleaned people's houses, worked on farms, and walked miles just to grind maize or fetch medicine when Ebuka was sick. She denied herself joy so he could go to school. She loved him too much. It wasn't just a mother's love, it was like he was her whole world, the only person she could rely on, the only one who hadn't left her. As Ebuka grew older, she began to fear the world would take him too. Hatred for men. By the time Ebuka turned 13, Adis no longer hid her feelings. She spoke openly. Men are wicked. They take and leave. They don't love. They destroy. Don't be like them. She refused to allow Ebuka to play with other boys. She didn't allow male teachers to tutor him. When he showed interest in sports, she discouraged it, saying it would expose him to the wrong crowd. Her word was her son, and her fear was losing him to the same fate that took Okafor away. But there was a deeper pain. Adis always wanted a big family. She dreamed of 3 or 4 children. The sound of laughter in the compound, the joy of cooking for a full house. But now, no man would come close. They either avoided her or came only for lust, and she chased them away. She didn't trust men. She didn't want love. But she still wanted more children. And her mind, already broken by betrayal and pain, began to twist in a dangerous direction. The thought that should never have come. It began as a strange idea. One evening while Ebuka was asleep, Adis stared at him. He looked like Okafor, but kinder. Softer. He had her heart and his father's face. her mind whispered. He is not like other men. He will not leave. He will not hurt me. At first, she pushed the thought away. But it returned again and again until it became an obsession. What if he is the one to give me the children I long for? He is pure. He is mine. No one would ever know. She began to act differently toward Ebuka. She started touching him more, sitting too close, telling him he was her only man. The boy grew uncomfortable but didn't understand. He loved his mother. He trusted her. He obeyed her. And so, one rainy night, when she came to him and cried and begged him to help her feel like a woman again, Ebuka didn't know what to do. He froze. He cried. But she told him that this was love. That he was special. He was just 15. The hidden years. Adis became pregnant. She told the village she had a secret suitor. The villagers didn't press, she had always been strange and private. Months later, she gave birth to a baby girl. 2 years after that, she had another baby, a boy. Both times, the same lie was told. Ebuka, now older and deeply scarred, became silent. He rarely smiled. He avoided the villagers. He stayed inside most days, caring for his half-siblings who were also his children. He did it with a broken heart. He never told anyone. He didn't know how. The day the truth came out. One morning, a small child from the neighborhood came to play with the little girl. While playing, she asked, innocently, "Where's your daddy?" The girl smiled and pointed to Ebuka. Confused, the child told her father, who found the claim strange. He mentioned it at the village square. The elder grew curious. A few women began whispering. The next day, they watched the house from a distance. They noticed how Adis treated Ebuka, calling him "my husband," touching his face, feeding him like a baby. Then one morning, the chief's wife stormed into the compound with others. They found the children. They found Ebuka, quiet, empty. And they found Adis, singing and laughing to herself as if nothing was wrong. The village fell into shock. Rumors turned into truth. Elders gathered. Women wept. Ebuka was taken away. The children were removed. Adis was tied and brought to the palace square. The end of Adis. She never denied it. She said, "I only did what I had to do. He's the only man I ever trusted. He's mine. They're mine. I never wanted to be alone again." The chief looked at her and said, "You were once a light in this village. But pain turned you into something we no longer recognize." Some said she was mad. Some said she was evil. But most believed she was a broken woman who needed help long before this ever happened. Adis was banished from Owium. No one knows where she went after that. The boy who wasn't a boy anymore. Ebuka was taken in by a kind woman in another village. He never spoke of his past. He grew up with eyes that held too much pain. But he made sure his siblings were cared for. He never repeated the cycle. He became a teacher. A quiet man. A kind one. But he never smiled. Not truly. Not ever again. The lesson of Owium. To this day, elders in the village tell the story of Adis the beautiful, the girl who gave her all to love, lost herself in betrayal, and became the kind of story that makes people lower their voices when they speak. They tell it to remind the world. A wounded heart must be healed, or it will bleed on the ones who didn't hurt it.